Welcome back, traders. Today we're going to be getting into stock ticker AMC. We'll cover a little bit of crypto and then we'll branch off from there. Maybe we'll do some improv, but in AMC today, you were down 4.3% going into earnings, guys. Earnings is going to be on, I believe it is August 5th after hours. They're going to do a webcam and take investor questions along with talk about their incoming movements, which I'm excited to see. But just a recap of today, down 4%. And we did talk about this possibility of breaking below this uptrend. Bulls were pretty dang in control back here at 306 or 308, testing the top of the gap fill and bouncing 9% in one day, almost 10% in one day, which is super, super bullish. Now you're coming back down to fill that gap like we had anticipated. A shame, because this thing was on an absolute tear here, and we'll have to see what it does, right? Going into earnings, I'm not opposed to this move at all. I'm kind of, I would prefer ripping off the Band-Aid already and going down to fill this gap. The only thing is, though, you sliced beneath the 50-day EMA here, which I would anticipate if you do not reclaim after filling this gap, you would make the full move down to the uptrend you've been in since, when was this? April, during the tariff news, which that is a crazy, crazy hammer candle there. Which last time you touched this uptrend, I'll go over the last two times you touched this uptrend. You had pretty good moves from this uptrend. You went up 20% in like 3 days the first time. Second time you went up 60% in 23 days. And the third time you went up 30% in 19 days. So if you do truly come back down here to test before, August 5th is down here. So I do think you'll come back to fill this gap, maybe see a relief bounce, test the 50, come back down. We'll draw it out for you guys so you can kind of see how I anticipate this stock to move. Let's say you test this. Test the 50. Come back down. And then this lands right on August 5th here. Maybe you get a ginormous relief here. Test the top, higher low, and a breakout. That would be ideal. You are still within this macro inverse head and shoulders, and you are still within this wedge pattern that we've been following here for quite some time. So not a lot has changed, guys. On AMC, my bull case thesis remains the same. Nothing has changed in my conviction, and I believe you will just see this thing fill the gap, go into earnings. Something will happen. It's always bound to. Worst case scenario for AMC here, totally just speculating. Worst case scenario for AMC here is, let's say you test it, lower high, and then you go back down to make a triple bottom. At the all-time low. You tested it back here at $2.38. You made a higher low here at $2.43, and I don't believe that this one is likely. I really do believe that the bottom is in here for AMC at $2.45. And the reason I say that is you have this beautiful double bottom formation, and you go to the last accumulation pattern that you had getting out of the double bottom, getting out of the ruck you were in back in COVID. You had a beautiful double bottom pattern, and it did take a while because this is a double bottom within the double bottom. You actually double bottom, double top, double bottom. Crazy stuff. I don't know if you are likely to do the same here. I think there's so many different things going for AMC here, such as your monthly Bollinger Bands. And this has been something that we've stayed convicted on this channel, that your monthly Bollinger Bands, and we'll see with this monthly close here, how much tighter that this gets. but you're really coiled within this wedge here. The rubber band has stretched about as far as it can go. I mean, you have maybe another month or two within this uptrend and this downsloping resistance until you have to break out or break down here to the bottom of this wedge. So some big moves coming on AMC, probably the biggest moves coming on AMC. That's what the Bollinger Bands are implying here, because your Bollinger Bands weren't this tight back in June. And you did 140 and 117% move on the monthly. Your Bollinger Bands weren't that tight. They are now on the monthly time frame. It's asinine. It's crazy. It is insane that nobody's talking about this, because this stock is primed within a wedge pattern, within a double bottom, within the tightest Bollinger Bands it's ever seen, to hopefully get some good earnings here in about 8 days, and for GameStop to make some movement too, to help this thing break higher and then go to fill the gaps, because the gap fills are what I'm personally targeting. Not financial advice, but the gap fills are what I'm personally targeting on AMC. Above $4 is when you start to get into squeeze zone, because above $4, you're above the 200-day EMA, and you would be above the midline on the monthly Bollinger Bands, which would cause them to begin to expand like we have been planning for. So you have your first gap fill at about $13. You rejected it here in May. You have your second gap fill right about $19, and then you have your third gap fill, let me fix that, at $43. And that, a lot of these gap fills are visible, guys. They are just waiting to be filled. I mean, nasty stuff. Gap fill back here in September, August, and August again. Some of the nastiest gap fills I've ever seen in my life. So if you can see AMC continue to turn around the story on their debt and continue to capitalize on a lot of the debt agreements that they're making, continue to capitalize on an increasingly bullish box office, you could see AMC do something pretty silly here and squeeze out shorts. You take into the things that you have to consider, right? SPY, S&P 500 at all-time highs, checks a box. Shorts are underwater. You check AMC within a double bottom and within an uptrend still, checks a box. And then you have GameStop within probably the most bullish pennant. So let me fix that. I've seen in quite some time. And still within it. Within logarithmic. So typically these break up. And the profit target from that on the linear chart takes it to 75, let's say. And there is a gap fill up there for reference. And then there is a logarithmic price target of 100, depending on how you prefer to trade, guys. Not going to give anyone financial advice. These are just chart patterns that I'm analyzing. Let's get back to AMC, though. Back to AMC. Above $4, guys, there's pretty much clear skies besides 4, 5. There's a couple horizontal resistances. The first one being pretty much 556 would be your first horizontal resistance, and then above that, $6, and then you're going for a moonshot. So it'll be really interesting to see how this thing plays out. I don't like how the MACD on the daily time frame has curled down and crossed down. Typically a bearish sign, which further gives me conviction that you're going to come and fill this gap. So once you do fill that gap, I think AMC is all right to begin to trend higher. I do believe pretty strongly in this inverse head and shoulders. You might need a little bit more chop before you send this thing higher. It'll all really depend on AMC earnings, though, so we shall see towards the end of the week. Of course, SPY as well, but let's get into Dogecoin now. Past AMC with Doge. Not a lot has changed. Same with AMC. My conviction remains the same. 1 week has not really changed this chart. Now, what I do like and what I continue to harp on here on the Dogecoin chart is this golden cross on the daily EMA. Now, typically, I believe it's about 70% of the time, when you test the golden cross for the first time, it's about 70% likely to return the other way. So we shall see. I do believe that you're going to continue trading within this falling wedge pattern, and we shall see. Eventually you will tap this golden cross, and we'll see how Doge reacts. I think it'll be very, very strong. I think it'll be very, very bullish. And worst case scenario, guys, you're coming down to this 20-cent level on the golden cross, and you're kind of touching the bottom of this falling wedge to then reverse higher, making higher highs and higher lows. We have this uptrend here as well that you're holding. So I could see maybe you dip below, tap the uptrend, and then you're gone. And for Doge, it's really do or die here. It's really do or die here to follow through on this pattern, because you want to hold 20 cents and you want to confirm this double bottom pattern, because the upside on this could be immaculate. It could be insane. I mean, if you took a long from 20 cents up to our price target 48, that would be the double top. It gets you 140%. Let's go back in time to Doge, though. I want to see last time you had a golden cross. What do you know? What do you know? Last time you had a golden cross was back in October of 2024. We know what followed that, guys. You had almost a hammer candle, kind of a hanging man candle here, and you got your golden cross. You didn't even retest it, and then you sent. You could see something similar here to where you get close. You're kind of already getting that. Maybe you print some kind of hammer candle here and you reverse, or maybe you come test it. Personally, I believe you're going to come test it, but we'll see how the price action follows. So that was the first golden cross we went over. Let's go over another one. Second golden cross you had back at 7 cents, and you did come back to test this one. Pretty much pitch perfect, guys. And your return on that, and this was, mind you, during the bear market or coming out of it, your return on that was 51%. And then you went on an absolute slingshot to the upside afterwards. So nothing is concrete in that first move. You really just have to see, like we talked about in our other Dogecoin video, you're looking for a double top from Doge pretty much every single time. This chart makes a higher high but a lower high in the RSI. So I'll show you right now. We'll go over it again just in case you missed that video. A higher high on price. You went from 20 to 22.8, but a lower high on the RSI. You went from 90 to 75. So pretty much every single time you hit 90 on the daily RSI on this chart, not financial advice, it's the time that I begin to look for an exit strategy, or I begin to look for an exit, right? You can see back here in November, you could have called the top on Doge if you use this strategy. You made a higher high on price, topped 43 and then 48. But in the meantime, RSI went from 90 down to 70. So it's a pretty clear picture, guys. I believe that you are going to get a pretty strong bounce off this golden cross, and then you're off to the races on Doge. typically when Dogecoin runs, so do the risk on assets, because that money flows in unison, guys. So once Dogecoin begins to run, and I can pull up this chart for you guys if you want to see it on TradingView. We talked about it in another video. Let's see, Doge. This is what has me absolutely jacked, guys. I'm so excited. So excited, because the macro picture of all these things look crazy. Let's go GME. Oh dear. So we are comparing. No, that's not what I wanted. Go back. Unless we want to just compare Doge to GME. All right, let's do that. So typically, guys, you see Dogecoin run up, you see GME run up. Let's do it the other way. I like it the other way more. Doge. And this will give you reference to see what I'm talking about when I talk about the meme basket or the risk on assets. When Dogecoin goes up, typically money flows back into your AMCs of the world, your GMEs of the world, your costs, your Coles, your Blackberries. A lot of this stuff runs in tandem, and typically, at least recently, Dogecoin's gone first. So it's been a good indicator for that. GME. So let's show you. Doge ran here May 13th. GME went to a high at May 27th. Doge ran here at November 24th. GME made its top on January 7th. Dogecoin began to run and made its top in March 24th. And a month later, pretty much 3 weeks later, GME made its top on May 15th. That time GameStop went first. It's pretty recent price action that gives you that disparity. So the disparity that I'm looking at right now is GameStop is absolutely coiling on the daily Bollinger Bands. It's so restricted here in price action, trading sideways, which you never see this thing do. And when you do, you see it absolutely rip. And so you see Dogecoin has already made Dogecoin made an 102% move within like 30 days, within a month. And in that same time frame, GME has moved like 5%. It's actually ridiculous. So something is not correlating there. And I think once you see Dogecoin bounce, you're going to see the rest of the altcoin and risk on assets come back to life. But we shall see, guys. Jerome Powell speaks this week, so I will be keeping you guys up to date on monetary policy news and how that affects risk on assets, because it does primarily crypto with the rate cuts. Thank you guys again for tuning in. It's been Trap Trades, and God bless you guys. I appreciate my 52 subscribers. We're continuing to grow and scale this channel. So please, if you found value in this, drop a like, drop a follow, and we will continue to do our own due diligence. Go outside, touch grass, and peace.